happy readers. Today we're going to be talking about The Ring and the Crown by Melissa de la Cruz. So this book is a lot, but it's really, really good. It made me really critically think about everything in it. I feel like recently I've just been kind of reading books and not really thinking very critically about them, but this one I just really dove into it? Yeah, that's the word. Dove into it and really just sunk my teeth into everything and totally adored it. Basically, you kind of have this Downton Abbey vibe, not in the time period. This is kind of set a couple of years before then, I would think. It seemed like it was before World War I, but not quite there. Talked about a little bit looser dresses and things like that. But the Downton Abbey kind of feel is in the amount of characters that you're kind of following around, which kind of seems like a lot, but at the same time, once the story actually gets started, after she's introduced you to all these people, it just really gets going and it really, really works. It's kind of like historical fiction fantasy. It's definitely genre mixing. Basically, you've got Queen Eleanor, who was a real queen at one point. I forget what, it was Queen Eleanor, blah 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 blah. I'll put it over here. And basically she was a real queen, but in this book, because of magic, of course, she prolonged her life, and she's nearing the end, and so the princess is having to marry off and become queen and things like that, and so that's an important part of the book. You've got these characters who are 17 going on 18, marrying age kind of thing, and so they're going into this thing called the season or something like that, and basically they're coming into this city, into the palace, to come to these balls and things like that, and these parties to find their future spouse. Some of them have already been set up to who they are going to marry, like the princess and the Prince Leopold. But there's some of these characters who were kind of free agents and they're able to go mingle and do whatever the heck they want. Well, with the exception of Leopold, who just does whatever the heck he wants, no matter what, even though he's getting married. He is a total... I don't like him. And I'm gonna use this as a trigger warning because he is involved in an abusive relationship, and he is the abuser, and he basically wants Isabel to be his mistress, and she's not down for that, and she just is kind of like, I really don't know how I feel about that, and he decides that he's going to have sex with her anyways, and not cool, bro. Not cool. And in no way is the author condoning this behavior. She's definitely saying, no, this is not cool, because there's another instance where another girl not necessarily becomes somebody's mistress, but there's another abuse of power, I would say, and yeah, again, definitely not a cool thing to do, but yeah, that's in the book, so sort of a trigger warning, but also it's not something that you read about. It's not something I read about all the time, because I know in historical fiction sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. I don't read a lot of historical fiction, but I think it's interesting to bring in that conversation in there, but also when you're in a book, or reading a book that is all about, not all about, but I would say that it's not all about mating and getting married and stuff like that, but it's definitely a lot of about relationships with other people and different kinds of love relationships, because you do have the romantic relationships. You've got the brother-sister kind of relationships, the familial kind of things, and just, your different kind of thing, the parent child love, things like that. Not Oedipal kind of things, but just that got weird for a second. I don't think I've ever had to include a trigger warning in a book review before. I think maybe once before. It's been a while, and so yeah. But I just wanted to put that out there, just so But I think that it's still it's a part of the conversation. It doesn't deter you from anything, and it's not. It doesn't slut shame or make fun of anybody. It's just true to the point, and it works in this novel, and it totally gets the point across that some of these dudes are terrible. But on the other side, and it would come across as a binary a little bit. You've got the good guys and you've got the bad guys, and then you've got some people in between, I would say. The people who it tends to be people who do magic, apparently, because it's like the head guy who's like kind of like the right-hand man to the queen, and he does magic, and then Aelwyn does some things that I would say would definitely be in the gray area, especially in the eyes of the law of that palace? That government. Yes, there we go. But yeah, she does it for her friend, but at the same time you're like, well, you had good intentions. And it's the same thing with the king, or not king, the wizard king, no, but the main wizard guy. I'm really good at this. But basically, he does some things that you're just like, maybe that was not the best idea, and it actually comes into something really cool at the end, but at the same time, yeah. Let's talk about some of my favorite characters, especially, okay, I love Wolf. He's great. He's like the ringleader of the Fight Club without being totally insane, and he's fun. He hangs out with Ronan in this ship. They're coming from America to England, and they don't tell each other their real names. They go by Heathcliff and Kathy, and so it kind of gives you another point of reference of sort of around the time. Who knows. But he's so much fun, and I also really liked Ronan. They're definitely my OTP in this book. I believe it's a standalone. I really want a what's it called? A prequel of Wolf and his time in America, because I really need to know. I want his adventures. And I loved the ladies in this book. They were awesome, super awesome. Not all the time were they on top of their game, because, you know, there's some terrible things happening to some of these ladies in the book, aka Isabel. Again, she gets asked to be Leopold's mistress, and she's the freaking, like, princess person, you know, of France, Burgundy, things, and to be asked that, she's just like, she knows what that means, and she's just kind of like, no, and so she kind of, it's not easily distanced from the relationship, but she kind of gets out of it, and tries to go find somebody else to marry and things like that, and good on her and stuff like that, and she definitely has, again, not an easy life. Not an easy life. I need to go back to Ronan for a second, because she's the only one who's not really any sort of royalty. Well, there's some other people who are not royalty in this book, but she's one of like the main characters who isn't royalty. She's actually from America, and her family is running out of the riches, let's say. They are going broke. And she has somehow found herself being super blessed in this book by just mysterious benefactors. At one point, somebody just like gives her their room on the boat. I think that was it. And it might have been Wolf. They talk about him sleeping in some of the, you know, barracks below the ship or whatever. I don't know. There was something weird. And then, it was something funny. And then when she actually gets to England, one of her friends is like, oh, I'm gonna skip out over here because such and such happened, and now I'm gonna go to Italy, and so you can have all of my dresses. And I was like, what? Can I have Ronan's life? Can I have it right now? On to some fashion. Again, girls had beautiful dresses. I mentioned this with Ronan, and I think I mentioned this before, was the historical times. We really don't know exactly what time period it is, but we get a lot of views of a lot of pretty dresses, including a dress that involves birds, which, yes, anytime a dress turns into birds, we are all about that. So this book is a book that you need to go buy and read. Oh my goodness, if you don't mind some of the crazy stuff that happens, but I promise that it's not too crazy, and yes, this book is so good. Like, I can't. So have a great day, go buy this book, and keep reading.